I'm good with the others.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Calling the roll for the Monday, June 17, 2024 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:02 a.m. We have Councilmember Meredith Turner.
Here.
We have Councilmember Dale Miller.
Present.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.
Here.
Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Ronay, County Executive.
Here.
Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, serving as Chairman.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from June 10th. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Let's go to our first item.
First item, table item BC 2024-396, Fiscal Office, on behalf of the County Executive's Office, recommending an award on RQ 14008 and submitting a contract with Raftellus Financial Consultants Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $157,500 for the creation of a strategic plan for Cuyahoga County, effective upon signatures of all parties for a period of 1 year. Let the record reflect Nicole
English.
English, serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. I couldn't spit it out.
Kidman.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum, Fiscal Department. This is a one-year contract with Raftellus for the creation of a strategic plan. This contract was bid out, and Raftellus was the highest scoring vendor.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there any questions from the board? Please.
So, I just have a couple of comments. One, that I think this is the right time to do this. The administration has been on board for about 1.5 years, and you've had a time to find out what's what and make some assessments, and I think it's a good time for this. I also want to make my general comment about strategic plans, which is that typically we try to be very inclusive and go out and get a lot of input from a lot of different people, which is a good thing, but you end up with all kinds of ideas, and then you try to incorporate everybody's ideas into the strategic plan, and so that you end up with a plan that's just not very strategic at all. It's all over the map, and so I'm encouraging you not to do this. I think that we already have a lot of programs, and we have other things in the works, and I think that a little more focus on what's really the most important and how to be strategic in honing in on what would be the best avenues for improving Cuyahoga County is what's needed. So I encourage you to do that, and with those comments, I'm ready to vote yes this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments, questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Next item, new item for review, BC 2024-458, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Downtown Cleveland Alliance in the amount not to exceed $30,000 for event coordination, event equipment, entertainment, and historical walking tours from the Downtown Cleveland Alliance for the Cuyahoga County Rediscover Veterans Memorial Bridge events for the period June 19, 2024 through September 15, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning. I'm Sheila O'Bricky with Public Works. We are requesting an approval for an RFP exemption for the procurement of event coordination, event equipment, entertainment, and historical walking tours from the Downtown Cleveland Alliance for the Rediscover Veterans Memorial Bridge events this weekend. The anticipated cost will not exceed $30,000.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-459, Fiscal Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Mill James Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $16,000 for the rental of audio-visual equipment for use at the Cuyahoga County forfeited land sale to be held at the Huntington Convention Center for the period August 26, 2024 through August 30th, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum, Fiscal Department. This purchase order is for the AV equipment to be used at the forfeited land sale at the Convention Center. This was done as an exemption because Mills James is the authorized audio and visual equipment provider.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item's approved.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-460, Department of Purchasing, on behalf of the County Treasurer's Office, submitting an amendment to a master services agreement with Key Bank National Association for banking and treasury services for the period April 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2024, for additional funds for procurement card program services for various departments, and the total amount not to exceed $105,250 as listed as items 1A through K and 2A through C on the printed agenda, effective upon contract signatures of all parties.
Good morning, Paul Porter, Purchasing. This is our standard quarterly amendment to add funds and update users for the county's P-card program. We have RFP'd out the county's banking contract. We're in the process of working with the law department and a vendor to get a contract in place. The start date's going to be 10/1 for the new banking agreement. This amendment will get us through the next few months prior to 10/1. In this case, we do have more departments getting additional funds than we have in some prior amendments, simply because since this was a partial year and, the contract's going to expire on 9/30, departments had less funds than they did on an annual basis due to the partial year. So this should be able to get departments through that 9/30 end date. And we are adding the Department of Public Works, Public Utility, and a couple of cards for the Sheriff's Department. Other than that, fairly standard.
Okay, sorry about that, Paul. We had a little distraction. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-461, Department of Information Technology recommending to amend board approval number BC 2024-423, dated June 3rd, 2024, which made an award on purchase order number 24001712 to Logicalis Incorporated for joint cooperative purchase for the renewal of net app support licenses and maintenance services for the period August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2025, in the amount not to exceed $97,080 to change the amount to $97,080.06.
Good morning, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. As Cheryl just read into the record, this is a mechanical correction on a typo, a 6-cent difference.
Thank you, Dennis. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-462, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Department of Health and Human Services, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $9,324.21 for state contract purchase of various equipment, installation, and programming of service for repairs and a replacement of existing equipment, including the purchasing of additional equipment for upgrades to the access control system at the Jane Edna Hunter Building, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan again, Department of IT. This is RFP exemption for state term pricing through IPS, which is our IT standard for security and surveillance. And this is over at the Jane and Hunter Building.
Thank you again, Dennis. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-463, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to TEC Communications Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $46,900.51 for state contract purchase of various Cisco networking products, software subscription services, licensing and support for upgrades and additional storage capabilities for the Cuyahoga County Jail, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan again with the Department of IT. This is TEC equipment, state term exemption pricing. Cisco is an IT standard for their hardware, and this is at the county jail for upgrade and additional storage capability.
Thank you again. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-464, County Executive's Office submitting a grant agreement with Teaching Cleveland Foundation in the amount not to exceed $90,000 to provide funding for the Freshwater Institute Fellowship Program effective upon contract signatures of all parties for a period of 2 years.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum, Fiscal Department. This is a grant agreement in an amount of $90,000 to Teaching Place. They are implementing a Freshwater Institute program, which is a 2-year program designated to teach Northeast Ohio high school students about the importance of Lake Erie and the other Great Lakes in the region.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-465, County Prosecutor's Office submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $123,694 for a state contract purchase of Illumo ransom detection and prevention software, including warranty and support for a period of 3 years, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Josh Brower with the Prosecutor's Office. Illumio is a security software designed to detect and contain ransomware and other malicious threats from spreading throughout critical computer systems. Vendor selection of Illumio is a culmination of over a year of planning and research, as well as collaboration with Jeremy Mio's security team into software, cyber threat mitigation.
Seems like it's a good timing. Are there questions from the board on this item? Mr. Mackler, please.
Josh, is this only for the prosecutor's office, or is this for other,
At this time, only for the Prosecutor's Office, yes.
Jeremy, do we have a similar, technology setup for all the stuff you're responsible for?
Yes, so the prosecutor's office is on a separate Microsoft enterprise agreement. So we have different products on our enterprise agreement over here, but always looking at alternatives.
Any follow-up questions? Seeing no further questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-466, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Federal Express Corporation in the amount not to exceed $15,000 for shipping services for DNA-related results and materials for Parentage and DNA Department, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. We use FedEx quite a bit to move samples, evidence. Their tracking system is very efficient as far as for chain of custody purposes when we're transferring samples to other labs or getting them from other places. So this is the exemption. This is our not to exceed amount. I'm not sure. They fluctuate from year to year. We're never really sure how much business we're going to do. So we try to make as accurate an estimate as we can.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-467, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Fisher Scientific Company LLC in the amount not to exceed $24,256.91 for a joint cooperative purchase of various laboratory supplies and chemicals for the Toxicology Department and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office again. These are just general supplies for toxicology.
Thank you again, Hugh. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor said aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item's approved. Next item.
Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, on behalf of the Medical Examiner's Office, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Fisher Scientific Company LLC in the amount not to exceed $6,188.54 for a joint cooperative purchase of one K2 Scientific Pharmaceutical Laboratory High Performance Freezer for the DNA Department and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, just made sense for me to stay here and do these. We have a lot of samples for DNA that we need to keep. Homicide cases, we need to keep samples in perpetuity, and sexual assault cases, we, by federal and state law, have to keep samples for 30 years. So we do have space constraints, and this is a freezer that's actually replacing, I think, an older unit that failed. We are using ARPA dollars for this purchase.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-469, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, on behalf of the Medical Examiner's Office, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Agilent Technologies Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $137,438.12 for a joint cooperative purchase of one each gas chromatography, mass spectrometer, and gas chromatograph flame ionization detector workstation bundles, various accessories, installation, and one-year software maintenance and support for the Toxicology Department, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, once again, this is a purchase of a new gas chromatograph mass spec for the Toxicology Department, and we did get a supplemental award for ARPA funds that we are utilizing.
Thank you again, Hugh. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank
Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-470, Department of Health and Human Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, recommending an award on RQ 14249 and submitting a contract with Catholic Charities Corporation in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for a comprehensive pre-employment screening program for the Ohio Works First SNAP applicants for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services on behalf of Cuyahoga Jobs and Family Services. Again, the purpose of this contract is to provide high-quality, comprehensive pre-employment screening services for all OWF and SNAP applicants. This is to evaluate an applicant's job readiness and identify any potential barriers to employment prior to being assigned to work or training activity. We did issue an RFP for this. We issued it on March 15th and it closed on April 15th. We received one response from Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities was awarded the contract, and they've also been the previous and current provider of this service.
Thank you, Marcos. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to consent agenda items, BC 2024-471 through BC 2024-472.
Only a couple items, board members, so feel free to ask any questions on any of them. Seeing no questions, then I will make the motion to approve today's consent agenda items as listed. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Today's consent agenda items are approved. Moving on to other business.
No other business?
Any public comment?
No public comment?
I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.